Welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I am your host, Rabina Rastavan, aka the Realist Astrologer. And I know some of my viewers have been waiting for the Dark Side of Capricorn female video, and I just want to let you know that that's on its way. I'm shooting for this weekend to record it and upload it. If I don't get to it this weekend, I will definitely be posting it next week. So thank you for your patience, and I know Capricorn knows how to be very patient, so just stay tuned. It's coming. Now, today I wanted to get into the Michel'le Dr. fiasco. And in my last episode of my Ace of Cups radio show, I touched on it briefly. So I just wanted to make a separate video because I believe that this is a hot item that's going on right now. Basically, Michel'le came out with this biopic where she's recounting her life with Dr. Dre and Suge Knight. She has children by both of them. She was in a relationship with them both. One thing about Michel'le, she is a Sagittarius. And if you saw my Dark Side of Sagittarius female video, Sagittarians tend to be attracted to bad boy types. Now, Dr. Dre, he's more so of a bad boy on screen or bad boy on music when it comes to music, but he's not really a bad boy in real life. In the traditional bad boy sense, because I have a feeling that, when he's up against men, he tends to be a punk, but he's the type where he doesn't have any problem putting his hands on women. So that brings me to his birth date. Now, he was born on February 18, 1965, so that puts him on the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces. Now, I'm leaning more towards him being a Pisces, his sun being in Pisces, mainly because of his demeanor and him being in the music industry, being very strong in the music industry ever since, his early days being a part of World Class Wrecking Crew. Also, his undercover kind of DL nature, and there's been rumors about him. Tupac has said things about him. So Pisces has a tendency to be very secretive. Now, his sun will be in Pisces if he was born after 1 p.m. On February 18, 1965. But if he was born before then, his sun would be in Aquarius. Now, the thing that can cancel out a lot of that Aquarian nature, if his sun happens to be in Aquarius, is that he has Saturn in Pisces right next to his sun. So that Saturn in Pisces gives him a strong dose of Piscean energy, almost to the point where he doesn't have much control over it, because most times we don't have much control over what Saturn's doing in our charts. So with that Saturn in Pisces, he's a hardened Pisces. And that's if his, sun is in Pisces. I'm calling him a Pisces. He's a Pisces to me. He has that Pisces look. He has that Pisces demeanor. And like I said in my Dark Side of Pisces male video, Dark Side of Pisces male, they're often a punk when having to deal with men. But when dealing with women, they'll put their hands on them because they have this whole, weakness, passivity thing going on. And it makes them feel strong when they can put their hands on a woman and intimidate women or intimidate people that are weaker than them. That's the Dark Side of Pisces nature. So him being born on the 18th, 18 is a very hard number to deal with. Oftentimes a person is very selfish. There's this whole spiritual material conflict going on with them. So, when they're on the path to material success and they're trying to attain greatness, oftentimes they might victimize people in the process. 18 is a very aggressive number. It could be a number which makes the person prone to be abusive. It's one of the more abusive numbers in terms of numerology because it breaks down to 9, and 9 is Mars energy, and Mars deals with aggression, conflict, and abuse, and also destruction. So 18s can be very destructive, not just with others, but also with their self. So often 18s will be the cause of their own downfall, which Dr. Dre is experiencing right now, because I believe what Michel'le is saying. I'm like, why would she have a reason to lie? Like, really? Especially many years after the fact. And it doesn't seem like she's trying to come up financially as a result. I mean, yeah, this biopic, yeah, but to me, it seems like someone approached her to do this biopic and that this really wasn't, this didn't spring forth from her mind. I could be wrong. But she is writing a tell-all book where she's going to get even deeper into Dr. Dre's abusive nature. And that's very Sagittarian because Sagittarius is about telling the truth and upholding the truth. And once you lie to a Sagittarius. Like, once you say to a Sagittarius that they're lying or you try to discredit what they're saying, well, they're going to come back even stronger and harder with the truth. So that's what she's doing with this book. Now, Oprah has got on. Oprah, All My Life I Had to Fight Winfrey, is now on board, and she wants to interview Michel'le on her channel to discuss her history with Dr. Dre and the abuse and all of that. So Michel'le has opened up Pandora's box, so to speak, with this whole biopic. So it's going to be interesting how it plays out. But when I look at Dr. Dre's chart, he has a lot of mutable energy. And what I say about mutable energy is very volatile, and it's prone to be violent, and extreme violence at times. And she mentioned that he even shot at her on one occasion. So that's very much indicative of mutable energy. So he has, if his sun is in Pisces, that would make him a Pisces. But even if his sun is in Aquarius, with that Saturn next to his sun, that's giving a lot of Piscean energy. He also has Chiron in Pisces. Pisces is a mutable sign. Now, Pisces is typically a peaceful sign, but Pisces has a tendency to snap when they've been pushed to their limit, and they will surprise you. And the thing with mutable signs and violence, oftentimes you don't see it coming. So the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, and they all have that shit with them where, they will snap, but you won't see it coming. They will just haul off and start, either hitting you or attacking you or what have you. So they can be very lethal to that extent. Some of the hardcore serial killers are mutable signs, like Ted Bundy. He was a Sagittarius. Eileen Wuornos was a Pisces. What is that guy's name? Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. He was a Pisces. So yeah, basically do some research on some of the serial killers, and you'll find out that a lot of them are mutable signs. So he has a lot of mutable energy in his chart. He has Mars, Pluto, and Uranus in Virgo. Pluto and Uranus are very close to each other, so that could be somebody that's very volatile, especially when they feel like they're not in control or they can't keep things the way they want things to go. And his sun is opposing Uranus. Now, it's a wide opposition, but it's still in effect, if you ask me. And like I said, his Saturn is right next to his sun, and that's definitely opposing Uranus and Pluto as well. So he has a hard time giving up control. Chiron is also opposing Uranus and Pluto as well. So you might as well say that stellium that he has in Virgo, Mars, Pluto, and Uranus, it's basically afflicting the stellium he has in Pisces. Because at the end of the day, Pisces and Virgo, they're opposite signs. So they have some similarities, but at the same time, there's some distinct differences. So he has that seesaw imbalance thing, internal conflict going on with him naturally. So he's the type of person that has a hard time not just relating to others on a peer-to-peer level, but being cooperative, being peaceful, being agreeable. He also has his North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius, two other mutable signs. He has Venus in Aquarius, which can make him kind of heartless, kind of cold towards women, make him kind of tyrannical. So when I put, let me get into Michel'le's chart a little bit before I talk about their synastry, otherwise known as compatibility. So when I looked at Michel'le's chart, I first wanted to see where she gets that shrill, infantile, squeaky voice from. So I looked at her Mercury, because Mercury deals with communication. And I saw that her Mercury is in Capricorn, and it's making a challenging aspect to her Saturn and Taurus. Now, Taurus deals with the throat. It also deals with the voice and the vocal cords. Saturn deals with that which can be lacking or deficient or underdeveloped. So with that aspect between her Mercury and Saturn, it looks like to me that she has some issue with her vocal cords, that they're either underdeveloped, they might be extra short, or there might be some deficiency at work. So then you got to ask yourself, well, how does she get that rich, melodic, sultry singing voice? Well, people that are knowledgeable when it comes to singing, you can attest to the fact that, in order to be a good singer, you got to bring it up from deep within. You got to bring it up from that diaphragm. So that must be what she's doing. And when she's speaking, she's probably speaking from the top of her vocal cords, or correct me if I'm wrong, people who are knowledgeable about singing. I really don't know how to, express it, but she must be speaking either nasally or from the top of her vocal cords or whatever, and that's why that cartoonish voice comes out when she's speaking, but she has that rich, sultry voice when she's singing. Now, I have a theory about how she found that singing voice. So I'm thinking that she was probably with some dude when she was a teenager, and he put it on her real good. He hit that spot just right, and she found that singing voice. She was like, she found it deep within because he pulled it out of her. I'm thinking that's how she found that voice. But when I put their two charts together, there's a lot of volatile, destructive aspects that they have going on. These aspects point to the potential for abuse. Namely, her sun is in square to his Pluto and Uranus and Virgo. That can be an abusive relationship right there at the hands of him, since Pluto and Uranus, they're heavy planets and they tend to overpower the personal planets like the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So there's a distinct imbalance in that relationship. He's wielding all the power and the control, and Pluto can deal with being abusive. Also, most likely he was cheating all over her as well. And then his Mars is in challenging aspect to her Venus, which can denote a severe imbalance as well. Also, she has her Uranus in challenging aspect to his Sun. So let me tell you what that can deal with. Basically, Uranus deals with the truth, and it deals with rebellion and revolution. So by her Uranus in challenging aspect to his Sun, she's basically telling her truth at this point, making it known that he was very abusive towards her, and that's adversely impacting his status as a celebrity, which is the Sun, his fame, his possibly his fortune, possibly his future investments. Think about the Beats by Dre. There's been talk about people boycotting the purchase of those headphones now because it's come out that he's been very abusive. So he's receiving a lot of flack and backlash as a result. So that could be her Uranus in challenging aspect to his Sun all day. So, and like I said, she's still not through with this. She plans to write a tell-all book, and Oprah is looking to interview her as well. So this is going to be really interesting how this all plays out. Now, Dr. Dre currently has some challenging aspects going down in his chart. He has transiting Saturn, making a challenging aspect to his Uranus and Pluto. It's exact to his Uranus, or it was a day ago, or a couple of days ago. And that can deal with him getting his lawyers involved, but being unsuccessful because it's a square. The square denotes conflict. So he was unsuccessful, even though, he got his lawyers involved. But that didn't work because Saturn brings a reality check, and Saturn can lead to your downfall. So that's basically my take on the Dr. Dre, Michel'le scandal. I might do another video as the events progress and as more information comes out. I also forgot to mention he has transiting Pluto along with Mars, making a challenging aspect to his Sun as well. And that could deal with him feeling like his name is being dragged through the mud, or feeling like he's being overpowered, or feeling like somebody is, using underhanded tactics to get at him. So he's seeing himself as being attacked, even though I feel like, he's guilty of these allegations, especially because of the history that he has. He attacked that woman Dee Barnes from that hip hop video show back in the 90s. So that's been already reported. So he has a history of abuse. But like I said, abusive people have a tendency to catch a case of amnesia when their victims bring up their past abuse. So I'm not surprised that he has this response. So that's my take. Please stay tuned for the Dark Sided Capricorn female video because that's coming up very soon. Peace and blessings.